A newborn baby in Panama City, Florida, died after being left in a hot car on Wednesday. A total of 21 children in the U.S. have died so far this year from heat stroke in parked cars. The vast majority of such deaths are accidental. In July, the House of Representatives passed the Hot Cars Act as part of Democrats' Moving Forward infrastructure bill. If signed into law, it would require new cars to be installed with sensors to detect children forgotten in back seats. Lobbying for the bill's passage in the Senate is car safety organization kidsandcars.org. I'm joined now by founder and president Janette Fennell. We should note we reached out to an industry group for comment about this story, but we did not hear back. So, Janette, I grieve for any parent who has lost a child, but the enormity of forgetting your child in a car is particularly horrific. I understand that you are working to try and eliminate this tragedy through the Hot Cars Act. Can you tell our viewers what you're proposing?
Well, we've been working on this, believe it or not, for over 20 years. And, we've tried education and awareness, but the truth is your mind, you can't teach your mind not to forget. So what the Hot Cars Act would do is it would install technology in vehicles that could detect the presence of a child. And that could happen anywhere in the vehicle. And it could also detect if a child entered a vehicle on their own, which has become a big problem this year because of everyone sheltering in place.
Well, critics say that sensors can malfunction and they can be incorrectly installed. Is this technology the best way to avoid these types of incidents?
Well, critics can say that, but, there are very, very good tested, like to almost 100% accuracy technologies that are out there. And what we're referring to is technology that is installed while the vehicle is being manufactured. In this case, we're not talking about an aftermarket product.
Well, what is the role of the auto industry in this? Trade groups have agreed to add rear seat reminders to all new cars by 2025. Is that enough? And then also, as you said, this is referring to only new cars. You don't think that the legislation needs to cover existing vehicles?
Well, I'll answer your second question first. Yes, part of the bill has the government to test all different types of technology that are available so people can add something to your vehicle as an aftermarket product while all the vehicles are being produced with the new technology. And the auto industry has really confused a lot of people. They say they have technology that will work. Well, the only thing that they're putting in their vehicle is what I would call door sequencing. And how it works is if you open your back door before you leave, and leave within 10 minutes of that time period, when you arrive at your destination, you'll get a little blink on your dashboard that says check the back seat and possibly a little noise. Well, the problem is it doesn't detect anything. If I put a box of Kleenex in my back seat before I leave on a trip, I'm going to get that same warning. So it doesn't detect anything, and it's really been confusing because people come to us all the time and they're so excited. Oh, the auto industry is doing this now, and we're like, you don't understand. It doesn't detect anything, and also it does nothing if a child enters a vehicle on their own, which is over 40% of the cases this year.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what happens if a child does enter the vehicle on their own? Because then presumably the parent is not in the front seat or the adult is not in the front seat. And if they have to be there to get the warning, I guess I and my viewers, I think, are still trying to understand exactly what this new technology would do. Can you explain it?
Absolutely. So what the technology will do is it will sense the presence of a living being. Obviously a child, but it can also sense a pet, an elderly adult, a disabled person. So it's actually picking up the breathing and that movement. And then what can happen is the car can start beeping horns, the headlights and taillights can start flashing. It can push the message to the owner's cell phone. It can even call 911 and get somebody on their way to help. So there's many different ways, once that child is detected, that information can be broadcast out. And the Hot Cars Act specifically says that the alert must be able for people to hear inside and outside the vehicle. So it's very robust, and it's really what's needed.
What about if there's just an adult sitting in the back seat while somebody else runs into the store? Can it tell the difference between a child or a pet that's in danger and somebody that is doing fine?
Yeah, it's very interesting because it's like detecting while you're driving around, and it can tell you where an adult is, where a pet is, where a child is, and it can tell you, the approximate size and do so many other things. The reason we really think this technology needs to come forward is because you could even eliminate things. Like, for instance, every seat is supposed to have a sensor to tell you to buckle up in case you forget. Well, this type of technology could replace all of that, and it could even save money. So, as we move towards autonomous vehicles, we're going to need this technology because a car can't even move unless they know who's in the vehicle. So it's a technology that's available now. It can really, really help to prevent these just unthinkable deaths. And, it needs to happen. We shouldn't wait any longer.
Well, as I mentioned, it has passed in the House, and you're now lobbying the Senate. Are you receiving a positive reception there? Do you feel like the Republican leadership there is on your side and that it will be ultimately signed into law?
Well, that's going to be a difficult situation. As you know, the Senate hasn't been very proactive in taking up any bills. So we will push. This is the life of children who are totally helpless. And since 1990, almost 1,000 children have died this way. And this is not only predictable, but it's very preventable. And, today we have technology that warns us if we leave our headlights on, because, God forbid, we would want our car battery to die. But you know what? We can have vehicles not too far in the future that can save our children if they're left alone in vehicles.
Janette Fennell, president and founder of kidsandcars.org. Thank you.
Thank you.